All right, there we go. Hey, what's up, you guys? Again, as always, I hope you guys are doing well and are safe and healthy. Happy Monday or whatever day you're watching this video. And I just want to go ahead and say, just as a disclaimer, and if you are watching this video, it's only for students that have not completed the school year yet. So if you have any missing grades, this video is for you, and as well as what this video is going to be about. But if you've already completed the whole semester, as much as I'd love and miss you and would love to hear from you, you can watch this video for fun if you want, but there's no point in you doing any of this work unless you really want to. But don't, if you send it to me, I don't know if I may even, or if I am allowed to respond because you already completed the semester. So again, this is only for students that still have missing work, because what I'm going to go over in this video are all the instructions, as you see here. All the instructions are based on these options all here, to help you make up any of your missing work. Now, just as a quick side note that I put right here too, you can still complete your missing work. If you want to go back to those assignments, they are all are still open. Just click the modules button on your left side of your screen, and it'll take you and it'll show you again, like I said before, all those are like files by each week or even days, and with the dates and everything on them. You can go to those, you'll see all the assignments and pages all underneath that with instructions and the assignments again and everything. So if you'd like to do that, you're more than welcome to, and you can submit those and I can still grade your missing work like that. Or again, maybe these are easier options for you to understand, hopefully, whatever the case. Basically, there's going to be 6 total options here that you can choose from, depending on how many missing grades you have. You can do multiple options if you'd like, making up multiple missing grades. But basically, below are options that you can do to make up any missing grades, meaning if you have 1 missing grade, choose 1 option and complete it to make up for your missing grade. If you have 2 or more missing grades, again, you will need to do however many options to make up those missing grades. If you have more than 6 missing grades, that's unfortunate. All I can say is that you should then, you will need to go back to some of those missing grades and do those. So, do like a combination then, right? So let's say you have 10 missing grades. So, do all 6 of these options and then go back and do 4 missing grades too that you're maybe missing. And then I can grade everything. Now that's a lot, I know, and overwhelming for the last week, but whatever your reason, whatever the case, and why you're missing so many grades, maybe that's on you. Unfortunately, this is what the district is having us do. Again, I know you may not approve and not like online classes, but you're going to just have to get it done and get that work in. Just considering, this is the last week of school and grades are due no matter what. As you can see here, all work, no matter what, is due by Thursday, because it is the last day of school. So by the very end of Thursday, if you don't have certain things done and you try and turn something in Friday, I can't grade it. I can't give you that grade because it's too late. So again, I hope everything's okay with you guys, and there's maybe no reason for you to have missing grades because of something very unfortunate going on. I hope that's not the case. I would hope it's maybe not you just procrastinating and not wanting to do the work either, but I'd rather that than there be something legitimately terrible maybe going on in your life, if I'm honest. But anyway, again, I just hope for the best for you guys and hope y'all are well. Let's go ahead and let's talk about what these options are. So just as a quick reminder, 6 options here. Choose 1 or however many options you need to make up any grade. So 1 option, if you complete it and turn it in, will make up 1 missing grade. Now, I know some of you have missing major, minor, other grades. That information wasn't shared with me, but as far as I'm aware, any of these options can be for any of those missing grades. So if you do option 1, like right here, you turn it in, and let's say you're only missing maybe a minor grade, that can make up a minor grade. Or let's say you do option 1, you turn it in, and all you're missing is a major grade, then that can make up a major grade. Or you do option 1 right here, turn it in, you're missing obviously another grade, that can obviously go for the other grade as well. So choose an option, multiple options if you need, whatever you need, to get your grades in, to make up those grades. That's all this is for. Again, if you're complete with everything, please ignore this. Don't do any of these options if you are done and don't have any missing grades. So this is for those that do have missing grades. Anyway, I know I've repeated myself plenty. Let's check out these options and let's go through the rest of this. So we have option 1 here. It's to read this story or poem actually called Flying Kites. Right here, you see it's underlined in blue in case you didn't know still. If you click on it, this is called a link, by the way. If you click on it, it'll show up down here and it'll download it. You can click it and then, excuse me, and then it'll pull it up right here and you can see The Flying Kites by Quincy Troop. And then you see this little poem here. There's also another way if that doesn't work for you for some reason. If you click this little magnifying glass, it'll pull it up right here as well. And there's a nice little way you can see the poem too right there. And then you can just click, as you saw, the minimize file preview to get that out of your way. So this is Flying Kites poem by Quincy Troop. And I'll go ahead and actually read it real quick. No. This is just the instructions video. Never mind. And it's pretty short and quick and easy for you guys to read. But let's go ahead and keep going. So option 1, read this poem and then think. As you look back on the last 7 weeks, think about how life has changed, how school has changed, and maybe even how you have changed. What is one thing about your life that you feel has been changed the most? For example, think about things you used to do in school, on the field or stage, in your community, etc. ETC means etc. like, and so on, right? Like other parts of this list that could be listed, but it's just, you should already know what we're trying to say. So basically, think back since we started online school and just on everything unfortunately happening with everything closing down and quarantine, since everything started changing now in a lot of really big ways, unfortunately, what's one thing you feel like has been changed the most in your life? So, based on what you maybe used to do in school, right? So right then, so once you have decided on the most changed element of your life at this point in your writer's notebook, again, writer's notebook, journal, piece of paper, you can type it on a computer or your phone, whatever the case, however you want to type it and write it, that's up to you. It does not have to be your journal, just to make that clear, okay? Excuse me. I don't even have my journal here. It's still at the school. And so again, you can write it on paper, type it, whatever the case. I'm actually later in this video going to go and show you the submitting your assignment and turning it in and how to turn it in, just as reminders for everyone. And so again, writer's notebook can be however you want your writer's notebook to be in writing it down or typing it. And so there's option 1 for you. Again, this option is based on reading this poem. This poem's just to inspire and if anything, give you ideas for your writing. Overall, this mainly is though about what's one thing in your life that you feel has been changed the most since we started online school and been in quarantine and all that. That's this assignment for option 1. Option 2, again, read this poem. And just again for inspiration and as well actually for this option, consider how the author Quincy Troop, the person who wrote this poem, structures his poem to show a contrast in the way he used to do things and the way he now does things. So in this poem, you'll see that he's talking about one thing and then like on what he used to do, and then he talks about what he's doing now. So what are similarities or what are differences in what he says that he used to do and what he's now doing? So again, in your writer's notebook, write about the items on your list. So just list it, write it in detail, if anything, what's similar, what's different between what he used to do in the past and what he does now in the present. And that's pretty much all it's saying here. So remember to include descriptive words that will help your reader to see exactly what you are seeing in your memory. Vivid details will help you make your writing come alive. Okay, I apologize. I'm just reading through this again, trying to remember. So Looking at this option, two things here. One, excuse me. So what are the similarities? What's one thing he did in the past, and what's something he's doing now that's different? How did he change? What it's saying right here, and for some reason it's not listed here. Again, I apologize that maybe is a little confusing here, but basically in this writing part here, what it's trying to say is for you to say what have you done in the past and what are you doing now that is different, and kind of write those details. And what are you seeing in your memory is what they're trying to go at here, and what these directions and instructions are saying here. So you can choose either of those for this option. I recommend just going with this part right here based on this poem. What's something Quincy Trope did in the past, and what's now that he's doing different that he says later in the poem. So just give me those similarities and differences, and I'll give you full credit. Okay. All right, option 3. Again, read this poem. Think about how you can take your list and your quick write to draft your own version of this poem. In your writer's notebook, create a poem that contrasts the way you used to do things to the way you do them now. You do not need to use all of the items on your list or from your quick write. Only the ones that create the most vivid images. Use flying kites to help guide your writing. You can choose to adopt the author's structure if you would like. Okay, so let me go over this a little faster just to make this video a little bit shorter maybe. But basically, from this poem again, basically what it's saying is use this poem for inspiration and as an example, and you're going to create your own poem. And in your own poem, you're going to say things you used to do in the past and now what you do in the future. Or now, what do you do now, if anything? What has changed, things like that, since we've started quarantine, and all that. Or just in general, what have you done in the past when you were younger as a kid, and now as you're a bit older as a kid, what are you doing now that is different from what you've done in the past? Like, for example, for me, when I was a real little kid, I played a lot of video games and things like that. And as I've grown up, I don't play as many video games anymore because other things in my life have taken over, right? Like, I work now too. And so I obviously don't get to play video games as much anymore. And so that's maybe one example for that for you guys. So you would write a poem about that. Again, it says writer's notebook. Whatever works best for you to be able to write it or type it, right? Anything on your computer, Google Docs, Microsoft Word, Notepad, things like that. On your phone, you can type it. You can write it on a piece of paper, whatever works best for you. So that's this option here for you guys. Option 4, so now we're away from that poem. Option 4, in your notebook or on the text box for submit entry, which again, I'll go over here in a little bit. Write a letter to your future self. So what do you want to tell yourself 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years from now? So you could be, dear future self, or for me, I could say, dear future Mr. Brown. I hope you're reading this and doing well. I want you to remember blah, 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 right? And then you could just go on about, whatever you want to share with your future self, right? Like, I could share things that are going on right now in my life and saying like, you know, things with your family have been really fun. You helped move your sister yesterday, because I did. I helped move my little sister. And so I could say, you helped move your little sister to her new home. And that was a lot of fun, right? And I could talk about, whatever with my future self. Like, future self, I want you to also remember to never give up. Things may be difficult now, but, keep pushing forward and do your best, right? So share that letter with me as this option, and I can grade it for you guys. Option 5, I like this one a lot. In your writer's notebook or on the text box for submit entry, write a free write of at least 8 sentences of any story you want to tell. It's just a free write. That's option 5. Try to make it at least 8 sentences. Really go on a little bit about that story if you can. Dialogue helps with creating stories, meaning like people talking, right? That's dialogue. You can make a poem if you want that's 8 lines, that can go as 8 sentences if you want. It's a free write, whatever you want to write about. You can write nonfiction and make it like a personal story, or nonfiction and write about someone you've learned recently about, or whatever you want to write about. It's a free write. Okay, that's option 5. Just to make it easy for you guys. It's just a free write. And option 6 is the last option here. Create a heart map. So a heart map is like you can see this picture here. Hopefully it'll zoom in here with you guys on the video as I'm doing. But basically, you would draw a heart, as you can see in this little picture here, and in this heart you'll write things about in the heart you can draw or write things about ideas, feelings, and things that are most important to you at this time. So in my heart map, I would put, I draw my heart, I'd put family, my students, because it's true. You know, what else would I put in my heart map? Happy, um, you know, not giving up, because things are difficult, right? Other books, because I really enjoy books, right? I could put different things like that in my heart map, right? So that's a heart map. If you're still, and then with the heart map, as you can see here, it's on a piece of paper. You can do it on notebook paper. I don't have copy paper like it shows here in this picture even. I would just do it on notebook paper. So you can do it on notebook paper as well. And you can watch this video here too. She created this whole instructions for heart map, this woman here. I don't remember her name at the moment, but you can watch this video, and she made a whole video as well. You can even make a heart map and draw your whole family in it and turn that in. That's wonderful too. I think this heart map is super cool. I really like it, and don't worry about sharing it on Facebook or Instagram or social media. Just turn it in to me. Unless you really want to share it, if you have social media, just be careful with that, especially sharing personal information online. If it is personal, just be careful with that, just as a disclaimer. But same with sharing it on this website. But just turn that in to me if you're going to make the heart map, and you can watch this video too. And that being said, these are your 6 options. Again, each option can go for 1 missing grade. So turn in option, if you do option 2, turn it into me. You get, whatever you're missing. I'll put depending on how well you do, more likely than not, I'll put 100 on that missing grade without a problem. So there's all that for you guys. Those are our options. What you're going to do is, once you have all your options done, or the instructions and all that, click this next button. And it'll take you to the turn in page. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do it in this video. Unfortunately, I'm not on the student view for this video, which, you know what? I'm gonna make a new video here in a little bit, and you're gonna see it right here, okay? But on this page, just go ahead and address it. You'll see all of the same instructions I just went over right here, okay? And then watch this video if you want to learn how to submit this video that will appear here once I make it, because I'm about to make it. And I'm gonna show you guys how to turn in everything, whether you do 1 option or more, or all 6 options. I'm gonna show you how to turn it all in, okay? So give me a moment, let me make that video, and I will see you all then, okay? But hey, I love and miss you guys. Hope you all have an excellent rest of the day, or week, whatever time you're watching this video. Be safe, be well, make good choices, and I'll talk to y'all again soon. All right, later.